You know, even though NASCAR has shown no reason whatsoever to think that they weren't going to do this, I'm still surprised to see how many people are, well, surprised by the news that NASCAR is moving forward with making Auto Club a short track. Recently, as of last night, Steven Nava, a local Fontana photographer, had updated Twitter and showing them that, well, the Auto Club short track has started its redevelopment. You can see in some of the photos as well as the video that Steven has posted onto his Twitter account, which I will link down below, that grandstands are being torn out at the moment. And what it looks like is that in 2023, we're going to see a much lower capacity crowd for the Auto Club Speedway. Now, what does all of this mean? Maybe it's just a giant redevelopment, right? Well, no. What it looks like, because of how these stands are being taken out, looks eerily similar to the plan that we've seen for the longest time about Auto Club being a short track and what the grandstands look like in those plans. What it looks like is that they're gonna turn the front stretch into a front stretch, the pit road into a back stretch, or maybe even a pit road for a shorter back stretch. And it's just gonna move forward with this half-mile configuration that, for some reason, everyone who wanted short tracks now suddenly doesn't want a short track for. Now, I understand a lot of the pushback that this is getting. The Auto Club Speedway recently had a renaissance of sorts in 2022 with one of, if not the best race that it's ever had, and definitely the best it's had since, I would say, 2013. So it's not like this is a bad track being replaced with a better track. In a lot of ways, this is a very good track that hopefully will be replaced with a good short track. This isn't like they're tearing down Texas and that they're just going to turn it into a new Bristol. This is a track that has become popular on TV, at least for fans. Now, what do I think will happen moving forward, though? What's the big game plan that they're going to have? Is this just going to be a thing that happens in 2023, 2024? What's the game plan here? Well, here's my guess of what we're going to look at for it. I think in 2023, much like the Daytona Rising project that we saw in the 2010s, we're going to see Auto Club Speedway probably hosting only 20 to 40,000 fans at most. You're going to see a lot of construction around the grandstands and probably a lot of redevelopment of these seats, as it looks like, at least from an outsider's perspective, that the seats at Auto Club Speedway are dated. They look like a grandstand seating from the early 2000s, the late 90s. Now, I think that they're going to move forward the way they have. It looks like in these different documents that they've really had a game plan of where new warehouses will go on the old Auto Club lands, where the new parking or the renovated parking will be, and where the track space overall will be. And I think this is the real sticking point that you have to see here. NASCAR's going through with this. They're going to have less land to look over. It's going to cost less to put on races there, and they're still going to have the California market. Now, what I think they'll probably do is probably have Auto Club be the second race of the season again, similar to what happened in 2022. Because of having it in the second race, it'll probably be in the last week of February, right after the Daytona 500. What this does is give at least a full year to have a brand new racetrack put together. But what my theory is that we're going to see the 2024 Auto Club race later on in the season. If you remember back in the 2000s, Auto Club was the 10th or 11th, give or take, depending on what weekend Easter lied on. It was the 10th or 11th race of the season. And I think that we might go back to this. You might see Auto Club in Sonoma flip in 2024. That way it gives the most amount of time for Auto Club to be used for this reconfiguration and still have time to test it out, have time to get stuff put the right way, and Sonoma might be able to get a better date that at least looks better on TV for a little bit. That can be the excuse they give. I think that after that, you might see Auto Club, which is still owned by NASCAR and ISC, become the season finale maybe. It stays on the West Coast, it's closer to the LA, California area that they want to bring in, and it's a short track which fans seem to be clamoring for and have shown a lot of interest in, like what you see with the North Wilkesboro revival, as well as the LA Coliseum being a quarter-mile short track. So I think that a lot of this is all playing together to happen. Of course, I have a lot of reckless speculation with all of this, and I think that a lot of you probably are going to need to kind of be coaxed into this. I know that I'm not happy to see a great track disappear, but I know that it's probably necessary. The Auto Club Speedway that we all love right now is a track that's damn near 30 years old. The last time this track was repaved was when it was initially paved, which means that we're not going to see this awesome multi-groove racing that we love now with a bumpy track with seams all over. No, what we're going to see is the racing we saw in the 90s, the racing we saw in the 2000s, even into the early COT days. We're going to see a track that surface is smooth as a baby's skin. We're going to see a track where, in a lot of aspects, there's probably going to be tire issues, and not the good kind like we have now. I'm talking probably blistering, different issues like that. And we're going to see a lot of probably single groove racing if Michigan is any tell whatsoever with their repave that seems to have maybe aged a year or two in the past decade and more. So while this is an unpopular opinion to have, I think this is the right choice. It's either we suffer with the track that is probably going to lose attendance and TV viewership for boring racing, or we take a chance on a short track. We take a chance on something that NASCAR fans have really shown interest in wanting. And NASCAR takes a chance on a market that might actually be more receptive to this than we think. We have a 2-mile D-shaped oval in Michigan still. We'll see in a couple weeks how it races and maybe see how Auto Club could have raced. But right now, this seems to be a logical course of action, even if it's not a popular one. Now, like I said, I know it's not going to be popular. And I know that overall, this is something that really no one asked for, even if it was indirectly maybe they asked for it. They did not directly ask for Auto Club to be torn down. And it seems to be a continuing trend where NASCAR is going away from these high-speed speedways, going away from the intermediate cookie-cutter tracks, and going to something different. So with that being said, with all of this news breaking, and again, thank you to Steven out there for breaking this out on Twitter, I want to pass this on to you and ask, now that you know what's happening, what are your opinions on the Auto Club short track? Are you for it, against it, indifferent? Let me know down in the comments below. I really, really want to know what you think about this and what fans overall are thinking about this. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content and news that breaks. Well, I'll be right on top of it, so be right there for it. And all my channel members, thank you so much for your continued support of this channel. So until next time, have a good one.